Man, I can't believe it's already been a full year since I looked at the greatest game ever made. Art. But I've already decided what game I'm looking at today, so no doorbell this year. No surprises to look forward to.
Whoppy?
Here, eat.
What? Where's Rent? At least there's cheese on this one.
Surprises are overrated anyway, which is why we're talking about this today, because it's no surprise that, given what we've seen in the series so far, a Sega team in the States wanted to fill the gap between Sonic 2 and 3 with one of the character's more recognizable spin-offs. What's interesting is that the director of today's title wasn't even expecting the game to be received well, expecting a lack of acceptance because it was a little too different from the basic formula, and after seeing the game ended up selling really well, he then expressed regret that they didn't get a chance to polish it up a bit more. And yeah, that's worth noting that this game was basically commissioned to be ready to roll by the end of the year, so this was a pretty rushed development process. Look, Sega, I know Sonic speed is kind of a selling point, but one of these days that poor development process is gonna catch up to you. This game was kind of inspired by how popular Casino Night Zone was in Sonic 2, which I find funny because I thought that was one of the more passable stages in that game, but hey, I'm clearly in the minority here. This little title was put together by a small team in America to release in time for the holiday season, and it actually takes a lot of elements from the animated series from that time period. Like, there's characters that appear here that you won't see in any other title. It really was the Wild West for figuring out how to handle all the elements of this property back then. As for the game's actual setup, I mean, you'd think that they would just go the easy route and make a simple pinball game with Sonic as the ball, and I mean that's kind of what they did to a degree, but they actually put in a lot of effort to try and justify it within the game's universe. Dr. Robotnik has built a new base on a volcano that he's using to turn the inhabitants of planet Mobius into robots. Yep, that's definitely the Sad AM universe here. So why a volcano? Well, apparently Robotnik is using the magma of the formation as a power source to keep his little factory operational. Hopefully it can also power the AC in the facility, because I'm assuming that using lava as a power source would make the place pretty crispy. All of this seems well and good up until Sonic and Tails try to fly in to attack the fortress, but the tornado is damaged and Sonic is knocked into the water, sinking down into the dark, cold abyss. Down he sinks, further and further until his lungs give out and he succumbs to the crushing pressure of the ocean. Nah, he's fine. He jumps into a little cave beneath the volcano and is met with Robotnik's newest defense system, which is a pinball setup. Yeah, Eggman, not just an impenetrable wall of robots with guns and lasers. No. Let's construct the only means Sonic could have of actually making it through the underbelly of your base. This guy's supposed to be a genius, right? Now you've got to make your way through this complex structure with the use of pinball flippers, bumpers, spinners, all the classic stuff you'd expect from a good pinball table, but integrated into this hidden base. Credit where it's due, I actually really admire the creativity here. Maybe it's weird having the first level in your game be set in a grimy, gross sewer, but when I was a kid, visually appealing and visually interesting might have well been the same thing. It's definitely memorable, and between the music, clever use of badniks acting as parts of the table, and just the overall tone of this location, this was a level that always stood out to me, and the following 3 levels are nothing to scoff at either. That's an aspect that will probably stand out to people. This game is pretty dang short, only hosting about 4 areas in total, and it's not like these are really that difficult once you get the hang of it. It does take some getting used to. I mean, if you're already familiar with pinball mechanics, this won't feel too alien to you. It might have helped that I actually really liked pinball as a kid, so I was able to jump right in. I'm not great at it or anything, but I have fun with them, and I've been using music from this childhood game in my videos for years. Man, I would love to get my own pinball table someday down the road, but these things are crazy expensive. I actually remember messing around with this small Digimon themed table when I was younger. Man, I wish I had the $700 to blow on this thing, but I also like being able to afford food. I'm getting off topic. There are some differences in the mechanics and physics. You're actually able to influence which direction Sonic moves around in the air to some degree, so it's actually not entirely based on how you hit him with the flippers, but that's absolutely still a factor. But by holding left or right on the D-pad while he's floating around, you can alter his trajectory just enough to help you out in some tougher scenarios. But for the most part, you'll be trying to get Sonic to roll onto these flippers and hit him into the right angle and speed to get him to fly off into areas you need him to go. Your main objective isn't just racking up points, but rather collecting the various Chaos Emeralds hidden in each area, as Robotnik is is using their power to keep his base stable from the volcano so the whole place isn't destroyed by its own power supply. So if Sonic collects all of them, the whole place should become unstable and fall apart. Up on the top of the screen, you'll see a status strip that will track your points, lives, and how many emeralds you need to collect throughout the stage. Sometimes you'll need to alter a rail track to be able to access them, drain this valve and grab them out of it, it's that kind of stuff. Complete those tasks, grab the emeralds, and move on to the next location. There are some quirks here, like you'll notice some places where Sonic lands on solid ground and you gotta run and jump back into the action, kind of like you would in one of the standard games. In fact, this isn't really a game you can just jump into for a casual pinball experience, as it kind of expects you to already understand some Sonic fundamentals. There's even places where you just have to use a spin dash, and you're only gonna know that if you've already played a Sonic game or two, but if you only have experience with the Hedgehog and you don't know much about the physics of pinball, some of these areas are gonna give you a tough time. And that's not even mentioning some things like the flippers in level 3 that move along this track if you hold them up. The game doesn't communicate the possibility at all, but I figured it out eventually. I actually thought this level dragged on a lot more than it really does, mostly because I didn't know you could even do this until there were only a couple of emeralds left to collect. Still, I had a decent enough time with this. I mean, I've played better from both genres, but I actually do think this was a good start, and it's kind of a shame there was never a follow-up. There's plenty of creativity here. They find ways to let you manipulate the environment with more than just flippers to knock Sonic around. I like the steam jets from level 2, level 4 actually starts to get kind of challenging with how it demands you to use your physics on the area, although that does kind of make the unforgiving nature of losing a life bite pretty hard. Pretty demoralizing, making progress towards emeralds in a tough stage only to make a quick mistake and then you have to do it all over again, but hey, with a game as short as this, I guess the difficulty had to level out somewhere, right? Yeah, no, this is still a little overboard. But the team made good use of what they had here. I love how well Sonic is animated in this game. Just look at him grab that ledge and flip up to safety, or look at him in the bonus stage. Between each level, you'll get these bonus stages where you have a more traditional pinball setup in a small table and 3 balls to reach some sort of objective and get a bunch of points. But look at Sonic playing in the reflection of the glass. This boy is getting into it. And if things are moving just a bit too slow for you, there's always an option to switch the speed to a fast setting. Yeah, you just gotta hop into the options menu here and that's a pretty catchy beat. Just a neat little song. Sure would be a shame if some behind the scenes shenanigans caused this game to need a new soundtrack thrown together at a rapid pace, and this one track got mixed improperly to the point of sounding like a hedgehog having a live Tesla coil shoved forcibly up his nose, causing the bleeding ears of countless players for decades. Yeah, but nah, that would never happen. But am I forgetting something here? Some kind of repressed memory? Where was Robotnik in this game? The bosses. I forgot about the bosses. Scorpion creatures, heads in jars, small animals being turned into a roboticizer. Knock out the teeth, knock out the teeth, knock out the teeth! Ah! Overall, this game is fine. It's easy to pick up, it's an inexpensive title to just mess around with. You might like it, you probably won't hate it, but there's definitely stuff to appreciate here. Go ahead and give a shot to Sonic Spinball. Well, that was a fun little detour, but I think it's time to get to work on what everybody's really waiting on. So, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is next. Stay tuned for that, and happy April 1st. Of course, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Sunset City, you know where to find me. And until then, I will see you next mission. And hey, at least next year I don't have to worry about any killer food. Right?
Well, I guess I won't be needing this for a while.
Chili dogs!
Hey there everyone, thanks so much for watching. I know this was a short one, but I really wanted to do something small and fun for April Fool's Day this year, but I am obviously getting to work on the Sonic 3 and Knuckles video. I am doing my best to have it out in another week. I'm gonna try really hard. Whether or not I'm actually able to pull that off, we will see. But hey, I am determined and I am stubborn. But I still wouldn't get to do any of this if it wasn't for the wonderful supporters like you, including my Patreon supporters, and I have to give a very special shout out to my current top tier patrons. This month they are Brendan Hess, Christine Larkin, Earl Valco, Jeremiah Harrison, Letterick, McKenzel, Mr. SP, Wonton Photo, Nicholas Morgan, Patricia Marcoux, and Cyrus the Skeptic. Thank you all once again, as always. You make this possible and you make it worth it. And with all of that said, I've got some more work to do, so I will catch you on the flip side. See you next mission.